It's alright.
Feels good. Kick it.
It's alright.
10 years ago, or 10 this year. And it was born because I was doing a piece of work in a children's centre in Speke, in Liverpool, and I met a chef. He's still with us, he's still our head chef, and he'd taken a job out of a restaurant, gone into a cafe in Speke, put salmon and noodles on the menu. Salmon and noodles was strange for a dish that would be served in Speke. Went down well. People wanted to know how to cook the salmon and noodles. We kind of got the GM of an idea, but maybe it would be good just to teach a few people how to cook. We then bought a couple of camping stoves for 10 each. Put on a cookery course which included salmon and noodles, and then played with it really. Played with the fact that that this cafe was in Speke but didn't really work that well. But interestingly, the local population couldn't cook, weren't cooking. The facts are that about 60% of the nation no longer cooks a meal anymore. So if you equate that to Liverpool, we're looking at about 260,000 people every night who don't have a home cooked meal. So if you apply that to Speke, you know, about 6,000 people sitting in Speke who weren't eating fresh food ever. So what we were trying to do was, with the model, was get people cooking again, get people interested in cookery, get people believing that it was easier than they thought it was, and then show them how to cook. So the journey took us to many locations in and around Liverpool, and we've taught, in 10 years, we taught about 14,500 people, of all shapes, sizes, ages, ethnicities. We've been through the gamut, you know, and we've had a lot of success, a great deal of success at getting people to cook. So when we get them, this used to be a big old cookery studio, or when we do it mobile, everybody we teach to cook, pretty much everybody, it impacts them. It gets them thinking about what they're going to go and cook. But also, interestingly, it just gets them thinking about their own general well-being. There's an American food writer called Michael Pollan, and he says cookery is political, right? Cookery is political, right? So my interpretation of that would be that, remember when we had the meat scare, the horse meat scare, a few years back. What was really interesting about that horse meat scare is that the moment you got into Tesco, and everybody started to realise that Tesco was stocking horse meat, everybody stopped shopping for those products at Tesco, and they immediately come off the shelves. Now, interestingly, that's a political act, that's a social act, but it is technically a political act. Now, if everybody, absolutely everybody, chose to cook, then if they chose to cook, they would be shopping for fresh produce. So rather than have the last 4 aisles in the supermarket as just fresh produce, you would have the first 16 aisles, because everybody would be shopping for that kind of volume. That's a political act, that's a social stroke political act. But everybody doesn't cook, so that's why we have 16 aisles back that way, full of crap processed food. You can have massive social impact through teaching cooking. Interestingly, but nobody wants to pay for it, right? And if you run something as a project, you end up with project outcomes. So small scale, costs more money than you have, and it's fairly low level impact. Now, what we've been wanting to do is, what I'm interested in, you know, I've been in social enterprise for about 25, 26 years. What I'm really interested in is changing policy. Where can with products and services that change policy, and I think that's really important. You should never be involved in social enterprise unless you campaign. Right, so that's what social enterprise is about. People have rebadged this. It's been gerrymandered, if you like, as a term. But in reality, if anybody looks in the history of social enterprise is about doing good business in deprived areas, and you must campaign. You must campaign. They're the kind of three pillars of it, and most don't. So most social enterprises, as far as I'm concerned, are not social enterprises because they don't campaign. But we do, and I've always worked in this sector, wanting to campaign on the issues. From the start, we've encountered poverty. Always, it was Speke was at the time the poorest neighbourhood in England, and from that start, what we did was we realised that when we were working with people in the homes, not just in Speke, we were seeing kids go hungry, mothers and fathers with no food skills, no knowledge of nutrition whatsoever. But we were never going to crack the code teaching them to cook. We were never going to crack that code. So the important thing for us was what do we do with this business 5, 6, 7 years in, which is what it was. We have this like 7-year itch of playing with cookery. And so what do we do with a business that's 7 years in? It's having some good social impact, but it's not getting anywhere near the policy discussion. And so what we did about 3 years ago is we turned the business around into a food production business. We, as a team, worked hard to find out what people were and weren't eating. But we've done loads of pilot testing with that just to make sure that the food's right, and we haven't got weird with it. Right, so I remember I said a couple of years back, about 4 or 5 years ago, and I run the gauntlet of the public health teams in Liverpool, because I said, don't worry if you can't get 5 a day, 3's all right, right? Because most people are not having 1, when we're coming from kind of deprived areas. So I said, so 3's all right. So public health, big outcry about that. But what's not weird about that message is get people where they start. Make sure you design a service that's a service you would want for yourself. So that's what we've been working with. We've been working with the service is a service I'd like to receive. Every product that we now sell, or that we're now distributing, is a product I would gladly eat, and that's our starting point. But working back from that, if we're gonna work with messages that are simple enough for people to understand, and that's what it has to be, work back from what people are eating already. So we worked off the top 10 foods in Liverpool, in the UK, and then just design foods consistent with those top 10 foods: lasagnas, curries, roast dinners, stews, soups. We've just created a range called Not Poodle now, which is obviously a play on pot noodle, because everybody loves pot noodles, So our Not Poodle will just play, and it's interesting when we're knocking products out like that, is that it immediately resonates with the people that we're trying to get it to, because it's something they've seen before. Too often, public health messages are 10 a day. We heard the other week. It's now 10 a day in this country. You should be eating 10 a day. There's just, I would say 98% of everybody in this country doesn't eat 10 fruit and veg a day. And by the way, you can't afford it. We calculated it would be about £14 a week per individual if you could get your hands on cheap fruit and veg in the portions that you wanted. So £14 a week that you would need just to get yourself, one person, into 10 a day. Imagine if you've got a family of 4. Most people in this country can't afford that kind of outlay. So what we play with is, we're not about healthy. We're not a healthy food organisation. I don't know who is, by the way, but we're a healthier food organisation, because we've edged away from processed food. Ours is only ever fresh chilled. We've edged away from processed food, and we never use additives. And we've edged away, and you will get good fresh fruit and veg in our meals. So that's the kind of transition we've been. We get criticised because we're seen to criticise the food bank model, And on a level where we are critical, we're doing it from a position of expertise. We're a food organisation. We work with professional chefs. You know, Laura and I, we work together on devising the menus and stuff. We don't kind of just do this and go, that would be good. We go out, we research, we find out what's going on out there worldwide. By the way, we've done a lot of looking at what's going on in North America, and what's of interest here, before I kind of really kick in, is that the food bank model we have in this country right now has only gone and replicated what hasn't worked in North America for 25 years. So in any business, you would never replicate a model that hasn't worked somewhere else, import it, and then expect it to work here. And if I go back to what I said to you just briefly before, why would you design a service that is not a service you would want for yourself in the first place? Now, food banks have done, and this is important, food banks have done an amazing job responding to the crisis. Because what they've done is they've mobilised the logistics of getting food from A through B to C, being the person who's hungry. But it's a 7-8 year old model in this country. Now in 7-8 years, the food offer has not changed. Now the argument is that with some food banks that they will give fruit and veg, but I've just given you how close we know about how close we've got to about people's cookery skills. Don't give people fruit and veg if they can't cook, because there is no point, you know. And so you're back to, so what is the offer? What is the offer that can support people from food poverty? So what we've worked on, which is a really interesting twist in it, is we've defined food poverty as people not having access to good food by choice. So good fresh food, by choice. And the by choice thing is really important. So what we want food banks to be able to offer is a service where if somebody comes in, they know it's a food they would choose for themselves. It can be done. So Laura, my colleague, has worked hard to bring together what we call the wraparound food parcel. So we right now, with our food poverty campaign, I'm sure we'll talk about it in a second, what we offer are fresh chilled meals, as good as anything that you would find in Tesco. So we're giving those meals out as part of the campaign, free to the person who's hungry. And then what Laura's designed to go around it is a wraparound food parcel, which is the stuff that you and I would go out and buy, which is good, you know, fresh milk, bread, cheese, Some of that comes in a food bank parcel, but interestingly, we're avoiding all the processed meat stuff. You know, we're avoiding all the sugary stuff. We're avoiding all the high fat stuff. And what we're actually doing is saying, here's a good box of food, and then there's some good fresh meals to go there. So it's like doing your own shop. It's like going and shopping. You destigmatise it. But what's the most important thing is, we argue that if you feed people badly, they will stay in their crisis. If you feed people well, they're more likely to get out of their crisis. So we believe that you can solve food poverty. You might not be able to solve the wider issue of poverty, but if you narrow it, define it, resource it properly, and then deliver a food product that people would want and would choose for themselves, you can stop food poverty. And that's been what we've been trying to do. So what we wanted to do was to create this campaign, which we called Share Your Lunch, that would resonate with absolutely everybody. And the premise of the model is the premise of the campaign is as you eat a good meal, share that lunch and think of somebody else. And so we were working with Liverpool Echo, Merseyside Police, some restaurants like Murray in Liverpool, you know, some good big hitters who kind of just decided that they got the message. And the idea was mobilise the message with the Liverpool public, get the Liverpool public to give, which they did generously, and then turn those donations into fresh meal deliveries. So we've given out now about 9,500 meals, fresh meals, free, at the point of where they're being cooked up. and those meals, like I say, are as good as you would buy in any supermarket, but fresher. And the twist on it, obviously, as I've just mentioned before, is that we're trying to give people fresh, nutritious food that will enable them to make better decisions. But also, the one thing that's critical in this is that because of, everybody's seen, a lot of people have seen I, Daniel Blake, a lot of people know the old messages that came out of food banks where there are only 3 visits and so on. But it's not the reality anymore. And so lots of people are staying around for a lot longer in that poverty trap. So we're actually asking people, unless they get fresh food, with the food bank parcel, to eat food that is damaging to your health in the medium term. And we are asking people to eat it in the medium term. So what we're asking food banks to get involved in is, why not turn the model around? Why not educate the donor? Right? So if somebody, you or I, we're wandering around the supermarket and we pick up what we think somebody wants to eat because they're hungry, 9 times out of 10 we will get that wrong, because we don't know, we haven't been there. Now, interestingly, as Laura, as I said before, Laura's done this piece of work. If you've got a shopping list that is predicated on the right food that people want and need to eat, then people donate because they know somebody's going to eat it. Everybody who donates thinks that somebody's going to eat that food. We know that about 40-50% of everything given to a food bank is not eaten because it's the wrong food that is given out. So what we're trying to do is say, dead simply, to food banks, educate the donor. They'll still donate, but they'll donate the right things. It's a simple change. Once you do that, you're about 50% more of the way there to feeding people well, and in turn, those people, once they're fed well, are more likely to get out of the crisis. It's a dead simple change, and we're fighting hard to get people to make those changes. So the difference that we're trying to make is that we have a food expertise. We don't take research lightly. We look for it, we find it, and we're locked down and making sure that everything we give out is right, and the information that we give out, of course. But the most important thing for me is that we're not adversarial. We're saying, come and have a go with this.
Work together.
Yeah, work on it. But what's interesting? We're gonna launch a brand, a model, in about a month's time, called Good Food Banks. Now, if you're a food bank, why wouldn't you want to be a good food bank, right, rather than a food bank? And we're not saying they are bad food banks, but they're not providing good food.
Through research.
Yeah. So join with us. Nominate yourself as a good food bank. Work with the wraparound parcel. Take our free food into it as part of the channel, and then educate the donor. Right? Now, interestingly, if everybody go on with really simple messages, and by the way, I would challenge anybody to knock the idea and say it can't work, because we put some work into this. It's easy as the change. If everybody joined in on this, we would stop food poverty in cities like Liverpool, like that. And what's interesting is most don't want to. And again, not adversarial, it's just, if you want to come and join in, let's work together to make sure that whoever is hungry gets really good food to feed them and their kids. Who wants kids to go hungry in a city like Liverpool? Liverpool City Council, interestingly, we've just signed an investment deal with them, so they're investing into Cancut. So that's a big statement on their behalf. How we're going to grow this is using investment, like I've just mentioned. But how we're going to grow this is to, we're a commercial organisation like anybody else. Over here we're lockdown campaign and social organisation, but over here we need to make a profit, and in making that profit, it's how we recycle those profits back, which is the important difference. So to grow into other areas, we're going to compete with other food providers, just like anybody else. We can match, with schools, going into schools, we can match anybody's prices going into schools. And then interestingly, the kickback working with us is that we'll tackle food poverty as well. So it's a good proposition. From a point of negotiation, it's a good proposition. Care homes is the same. We make that offer. And if we open shops, we'll open shops, which is what we're trying to do. If we do that, it'll be a convenience store where people will be able to buy goods at the same price as they can buy it everywhere else, but an improved product line. And then we've got ideas for how people will be able to shop very, very, very cheaply, which we'll announce later this year. You know. Now, what's interesting about that is that we're just competing like any other business, but our social impact is significantly different than any other business. Can Cook spent about £3 million getting to where it is. We employ 16 people. It's a big business concern. We pay national living wage for people coming in at entry level. We do all of those things, but it's a business concern, and it's right at the front end of competing with some big private sector entities who are all trying to win the same stuff that we're going out there for. So we're serious about that, you know, and that's the most important thing for us. But then, in getting it out to everybody else, you want to make sure that whoever your partner is a good enough partner to deliver it, and whoever your partner is commercial enough to understand that the payments for the intellectual property, the license or whatever, is something that should be understood, otherwise they shouldn't be in business. So we've got an arrangement right now with Swansea Council, who are looking to set up a kitchen just like us. They're doing it on license with us. We do some consultancy with them. We've done a pilot with them where we've been delivering food from here to Swansea to be piloted. And the idea is that the local authority will create a team that will create a Meals on Wheels, a probably a care-focused option, which would be working with the care homes that they've got, or maybe delivering to people's homes who are slightly isolated, that kind of stuff. So we've been working with them now for over a year. We'll work with them for the rest of this year, and then we'll assess where it's going to go from there. I hope they make it, because it's as needed over in Swansea as it is here. You know, there's a little difference between Swansea and Liverpool. Now, interestingly, when you think about the care sector, you think about any sectors where it's looking after people, normally the thing that's driven down is the cost of the food. And what we're trying to do is bring that back up. If you bring that back up, children learn better. If you bring that back up, older people stay away from being malnourished, they stay out of hospital. And interestingly, if you bring that back up and people are in poverty, as I said before, they're likely to get out of the hole that they're already in. And I think one of the things that we've recognised is that when you start to play with this whole food poverty thing, it becomes quite complex in the sense of people's needs, service delivery, people willing to work together or not. People remembering what they got into it in the first place for. So if you're a service deliverer, remember why you're there in the first place. And what we've noticed in trying to improve it, just improve it for the end user, for the kid that's hungry, for the old person. We bumped into an old woman who's a vegetarian who hadn't eaten vegetables for 3 weeks, right? So vegetarian who hasn't had vegetables for 3 weeks, living off Sayers pasties cut in half, cheese pasties cut in half, one half, right? So eating nothing nutritious, having to rely on that. Now in 2017, sitting in this country with all the wealth that it's got, plus all the other services that it's got, what's interesting is if we're asking a pensioner who's grafted all her life to live off Sayers pasties cut in half because she's a vegetarian, right, and there's no vegetables on offer, there's something wrong with the way the country treats poverty. There's something wrong with the service delivery that's playing with poverty, and then there's just something wrong, and we're trying to play with this bigger something wrong here. We're trying to get stuck in and say, how do we marry those two over here into this bigger picture over here, tackle food poverty head on, treat people with dignity, always start from a position of care, right? From a position of care. If you're not starting from a position of care, why are you in this game? And then flip it and get very, very business-like and say, you know how to do this, we know about food, let's create services and products Let's support people when they have got money, and let's create services and products for people when they haven't got money. And that's our unique space that we're trying to do. Politicians can make a big difference. I've seen somebody interviewed on Channel 4 a couple of weeks ago, and she was talking about the Prime Minister, Theresa May, who was talking about mental health at the time. And Theresa May was standing there saying, I'm going to do this, that, do the other for mental health. And what she said was, because she'd previously been an advisor to the government, is the Prime Minister can make any change they want. And they can. They just don't choose to make those changes. Now, interestingly, the powers that be in the city can make any change they want if they choose it. And if the ones who've got the authority and the power choose it, then everybody else will follow suit. But that's just the nature of the way power gets played out. But that's how you change policy in the city, and that's what we're going to try and push towards. Can you get a city to eat well? Working with colleagues here, we've got a plan, which we, like I say, we call good food areas. And if we pull it off, you can get a city to eat well. But everyone's got to choose it, right? Everyone's got to choose it. And choice is a very difficult word. Dead easy. It's a simplistic thing to understand. We're trying to get people to choose things because they've got to take some risks. The moment you ask people to take risks, it's like, right, because it's into the unknown. So we're asking people to go with it. We're asking people to change the eating habits of schools, change the eating habits of nurseries, change the eating habits of care homes, change the products that you get in retail premises, give people good food choices, and then interestingly get politicians behind it. Right? So what we work hard at is any partnership that we would have, we will take the lead, right? If it's going to be in and around food and food production, food delivery, and if it's going to be particularly a food poverty model that is going to accompany it, because we have that expertise. There's people in Laura and I we've talked about it. We'd love to get off to Washington, where there's a fantastic model called DC Kitchens. We'd like to get off to Canada, where there's a fantastic model called The Stop. They've been doing it for 20 years. We've been doing it for 10. If we went and met them, we'd just bring the other 10 years back to us, and maybe we'll do that at the end of this year. That would be a good transatlantic partnership based on, it's just information gathering to come back here to push us forward that much quicker. Around the country, interestingly, we've got Lee, who's just joined us, who's running our social media, so we get quite a lot of feedback from people in and around the country who are following the campaign, Share Your Lunch campaign, and big fans of it, retweeting it, getting behind it, commenting on it, that kind of stuff. So we get good immediate feedback like that. But great feedback around the food that we give out to people who are hungry, but it's good food. It's great food. We will get particularly good feedback from customers we've got, in and around schools and nurseries that we feed. We cater them to nursing homes, and that goes down well with people. So, the feedback's good, the feedback's immediate, the feedback's something that we go looking for as well, because you ain't a good business if you ignore it, you're trying to get your products and services out to. So it's good, it's immediate. To everybody who's watching this, I think the most important thing is that food poverty can be stopped. Food poverty can be stopped. There are a few simple step changes that we need to make, but if everybody chooses to make those changes, we would have probably the first nation that's been affected by food poverty able to claim that it's food poverty free. If you want to get involved, give us a shout. www.cancook.co.uk, and you can follow us at Cancook Studio on Twitter as well. Cheers.
It's alright.
Feels good.